Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to what is a brand new series here on the channel. I'm not sure what the title of it's going to be, but I'm going to explain it to you very quickly. Basically, we're going to be taking this converted PMDG 737-600, which has been converted to a freighter. I know in real life that wasn't something that specifically happened, but we'll roll with it. It's a fictional series as such. Basically, we're down here in the Caribbean. I think we're at Flamengo Airport. It's Tango November Charlie Bravo. And basically we're going to do airliner island hopping. So you'll know in the Caribbean there's plenty of little islands and things like that. We're basically going to be taking this plane. I think it's 17 sectors I've got planned out for the first series, if you want to call it that, because obviously there's other places in the world with further islands, as such Indonesia and things like that, even up into the Bahamas and stuff. But we're going to take this plane. It's going to be full flight videos, but not in the common way that you see on other full flights on my channels. I'm going to edit these ones down quite considerably. I'm hoping to 10 to 20 minute episodes, we'll see. But this should hopefully keep it a bit more interesting. I'll still continue to do the other full flight videos because I know it's something that people enjoy. But on these ones it's just to try and keep it as entertaining as possible, so we'll cut out the pre-flight, flight planning and all of that kind of stuff. I'll show you interesting bits, maybe cut out long taxis, things like that. But hopefully this will be quite interesting because we're going to go to a lot of airports that are quite small. I mean, this airport is fairly large. Compared to what we will be landing at, it's not the biggest airport in the world by any stretch, but compared to what we'll be going out to later, it's certainly one of the larger ones. We're probably landing on runways that are probably barely, if not legal, for the 737-600, but yeah, the other premise I just want to get across at the beginning of this video is that this will be with service-based failures on, we might not get any, but they're on, just to spice it up a little bit, I guess. And we'll also be saving panel states at the end of every episode, just to keep that continuity going as well. So I've loaded up a panel save that I've got, which has got basically what I really wanted was a plane that looked really old and had been converted, but I couldn't find any that quite suited me, so I've just gone with this one. I appreciate it's a European reg, just ignore it. I've gone with this, but I've spec'd the inside with the PMDG options to make it as kind of old as possible. So I've also got the eyelet windows, and I've changed the displays as well, just to give it that kind of older, rugged feel that this thing's going to go around the Caribbean, giving some lifeline cargo services to some of these small islands that usually wouldn't have an aircraft like this land at them. So anyway, now that the intro's over, I'm going to jump into the flight deck. Got our usual wing views and stuff. I'm going to jump into the flight deck and I'm going to start setting things up, and I will cut to points that I think are interesting enough for you. So yes, let's get set up. So as we put the route in here, we're going to from Tango November Charlie Bravo to Sierra Victor Lima Oscar. Now some of these places and the airports have interesting names that I'm not even going to try and pronounce, so I'll just leave the airport identifier codes in you if you can use them if you wish. So let's get the APU started. I've done my FMC pre-flight. Fuel's loaded, payload's loaded. We're taking 4.5 tons. It's only going to take us 1.3 tons according to SimBrief to get there, but the diversion airport is probably about the same distance away as this airport is from the airport. Cruising at 180 as well. And there we have APU available, so we'll flick the generators over. So we've got GSX coming to push us back. We'll have a little look outside the plane. This is Aerosoft scenery here, I believe. We are going to use scenery, add-on scenery where it's available. It's not available at all the airports I've chosen. And to be fair to MSFS, if you are used to P3D type default sceneries, and the MSFS stuff is, it's okay for default. It'll definitely do. Anti-collision light, I'll just put that on as well. But yeah, as I say, it'll do. We're running in DX12 mode as always for frame generation, just because I can already see an issue over there. I do hope that's something that is addressed. Although I have this feeling in my stomach that it's something that will become a bit like DirectX 10 was in FSX, if you remember, or CAT, or around the back in those days when the DirectX 10 preview option was in FSX. I feel like, and it had some kind of issues like that. I hope it's not, but yeah, I'll say right. I have no idea where it's going to take us, but parking brake's coming off. And let's start the engines. So, anti-collision's on, packs are off, starting number 2. This is taking us in an interesting direction already. We'll just start this clock as well. In goes the fuel. Starter cut out. Lights off. And we can start number 1. 25%. In comes the fuel. Now I'm not sure if GSX is actually going to push us onto the runway. Interesting. There's starter cut out. The lights off. And that is a good engine start on both engines. So as you can see, GSX has done us a solid and pushed us to here, which is absolutely useless, but it's okay, we'll fix it. So just do the overhead flows, so engine generators can come on, packs can come on to auto because I think we need them because it's 29 degrees. Engine bleeds on, hydraulics can all come on, start switches to continuous, the APU can come off, taxi light will put on, and we'll set flaps 5 as well, do a wee control check. Please just try to ignore the DX12 issues. Entering a runway, so we'll put the landing lights on and turn the strobes on since we're on an active runway. So yep, it is just a turning pad, so we'll just turn around and get lined up and get ready for takeoff. So just all lined up on the runway, and as there's going to be with all of these airports, probably no SIDs or stars to follow, so we'll do a bit of self-vectoring. Not so much for this departure because it's pretty straight out, but 40%, and take off. Mandatory wing view, and off we go. That's checked. Nice and quick off the ground. Gears coming up. So we'll just, should I really set this heading up before we departed? It's okay. Make a turn out to follow the LNAV path. I'll autopilot on. Already following the LNAV path. Nose is coming down to accelerate. Flaps can come to 1. And we'll bring the flaps all the way up. So that is probably one of the biggest airports we'll see until we land at the final airport, which is, I can't remember now, but I will have it somewhere. So we'll just clean up now. Auto brake can come off, landing gear off, retractables off, turn offs, taxi off, engine start switches back to off, and off we go to accelerate and head up to 18,000 feet just for today's departure. Okay, as with the full flights and this series especially, I will see you when there's something more interesting happening. So now running on into the descent. I've had a little look at the weather, or shall I say I've tried, and there is no METAR available. So I don't know what the altimeter is, so we're just going to stick with 2909 or 4, which is what it was where we departed. Obviously there's no ILS, so I have set up a couple of fixes, as you can see just down here. So I've got a 12mm ring and a 5mm ring along with the radio coming off, just so we can work out roughly where we want to be. So once we get to this waypoint here, I'm going to set a heading towards the 12mm ring, and then we'll hopefully do a nice visual approach into the runway. So hopefully this all goes well. This is a 9,000 foot runway, so plenty of room in this one. This is definitely one of the biggest ones out of all the sectors. Nice and, don't want to say easy to get started off. So auto brake 2, we just need flaps 30 for this, although there will be plenty that will be using flaps 40. And yeah, obviously as you can see there, in fact, even the runway is actually even bigger than I said. So yeah, plenty of room. So as I say, once we get to this waypoint here, I'll set a heading off towards that 12mm ring, and we'll go from there. So we're just coming up to that waypoint now, so we're just going to go heading select. This heading of 132, which will bring us in at this 12mm mark roughly. Plane's struggling for slowing down, so maybe we might be okay. The VNAV path is going to bring us probably a little bit low anyway, so we're going down at roughly 1300 feet per minute at the moment, so we could probably get away with VSing at 12. It just doesn't need to be quite as harsh, because VNAV has got us going straight in at the top of the runway, where obviously we are taking a bit of a deviation to set up an approach, and that will, we might even do 11 just to help the speed come back. I believe this is the island over here. Just coming up on 20 miles away from our turn on to final. So we're bringing the speed back to 210 now, and we'll make this turn very soon. So self vectors, I can't see the runway. In fact, that's a lie, I can. So we'll try to make this as easy for us as possible, so we'll just start turning a little bit already. We'll go to 115. Put the engine start switches to continuous, landing lights coming on just as we make this turn. Continue bringing the altitude down A good test will be to put it all the way to 200, so we need to bring it a little bit more in the VS there. Continue to bring the heading round. Take this nice and easy. Go to... So I've actually missed it ever so slightly, but that is the joys of using rough radials. We're using the green banana, as it's called, to try and roughly work out where we need to be in the VS. So I'm actually going to bring the speed brakes out and help us slow down. I think that's going to be one of the biggest challenges in this aircraft, is slowing it down. Put flaps 1 out. Just going to take it from here myself, just because it's probably the easier thing to do. So we're going to stop the descent as well, which will help because we are a bit low. Flight director's also coming out. Fairly gusty. So if you're not sure where to look for the wind on this layout, it's just down the bottom left here. So 20 knots. Bit gusty. We'll bring out flaps 5. Again, it's trying to slow that descent rate ever so slightly. Speed brake armed. You can see by the water that it is a bit choppy. It's just about to hit the 5 mile ring. So with 5 miles the gear can come down, and we'll go flaps 15. The good thing about doing stuff like this is it also gets you the chance to do a bit of manual flying as well, which is always good. So the speed's absolutely tanking back, so we'll get the throttle in. Again, we're probably far too low, but with no pappies we're kind of just making up as we go along. More fun that way. So with the speed coming back, we'll go flaps 30. Trim down a little bit 'cause now the flaps are out, its trim's a bit off. There we go. So we do have speed brake is armed. Lights are on, engine start switches to continuous, and yeah, and we come. So we're looking for 131, but it's fairly windy, so I'm going to say probably closer to 140 just because of that gust. Luckily it is in our favour here. I think I can just see pappies there, so we're a bit low. Obviously this airport has no scenery, which is fine. It looks like it's just going to be a backtrack on the runway.
200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20.
Trust the idle. And we're down. Reverse thrust. We'll just go max reverse since we do need to do a long turn back to the gate. Do a bit of manual braking, which is going to heat the brakes up. That's fine. Reverse is stowed. And welcome down. to an airport that I'm not going to try and pronounce, but we'll do a backtrack here, slow down a little bit so that we're not, there we go, we'll just pretend we're not on the grass, it's fine. There we go, bring the speed brakes in, flaps coming all the way up. So yeah, that was an interesting approach. We're getting, again, for those of you that were around in the FSX days, it looks kind of FSX here, which is interesting. Auto brake can come off and we will taxi down the runway to park. So here we are, coming to the end of the runway. We'll slow down and put the lights to steady. We'll bring all the taxi lights off, don't need them. What I meant to do is start the APU, but that's fine, we'll start it now. Now I have just set up a GSX position. I know what you're thinking. Very realistic, I know. I think it's down this one. Oh, I'm not sure where it wants us to go. What we'll do is we'll just leave it here. Why not? Parking brakes on. Just waiting for the APU generator to come alive. There it is. Flight the generators over. And parking brakes. Fuel cut-offs to off. And we'll take all the fuel pumps off. Probe heat's off for now. Keep the packs on. APU bleed on as well. Seatbelts. It's a technical cargo plane. It doesn't matter. So, welcome down. It was a nice quick flight. And yeah, there'll be no panel state for the next video, so I'm just going to go straight away to the next airport, which will hopefully be, let's say, more challenging. I'll go with that. But if you enjoy the video, guys, give it a like, especially if you like the series idea. I'll still take suggestions for other real world full flights on my other full flight videos. But yeah, in the meantime, guys, thanks for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next episode.